Hey man, can you believe that this might be it? Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
I'm
I'm ready.
I'm sort of ready, but I am scared. So anyway, let's get into this. It's calling all retro gamers.
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 What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Calling All Retro Gamers, the bi-weekly excuse for me and Ed to come on down and hang out and chat and sometimes play games.
Yeah.
Let's jump right in to some of the chat. We got Lloyd R. Jam in the house. What's up? And the Geekstorian is here. What's going on?
Dude.
I have not yet watched that amazing thumbnailed video, sir, about Captain Power, but I will, because if that was a picture that you took of the two jets, that's right in the feels, because when I grew up, I totally had those. And
you did? I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
So what I didn't know,
all the tapes, I had them all.
dude, I didn't know that like there was a bunch of episodes of movie cartoons, but what I didn't know is you could actually like use like the thing, like the plane, and shoot at the screen.
Yeah, man.
And your actual guy would eject like if you died. But yeah, no, that's a great video. But
it's such a great.
It cost $1 million to make back in the day, so I didn't.
It's insane, but also awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it was like kind of cheesy and like some weird things happened and it didn't work out. But you know what? So you know what somebody should do? Somebody should just bring it back, just to see if it would happen. Like,
That'd
can you make Captain Power happen again in 2023? Maybe. There's enough people that are trying to get into like bringing the 90s and the late 80s back again. Then why not, right?
Yeah.
We got Phantom Fiction in the house. What's going on? And Brian F. He's like, hi, D-ho. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, I did do a poll like this last week, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
At some point when we do polls, I forgot to tell you before we started, so I can also share that.
Sweet. Do we have the poll? Because we can go right to polls.
Yeah, let me. I need to bring it up, right? Yeah, let me do that.
What's going on? And then there's the topic of the evening, I think. While we can play. I mean, we were just talking about it in backstage, which is the reason why we're like 3 minutes behind on the 9:10 on time.
Where are we? Of course. That's what I like to tease.
Yeah, we were just talking about some stuff, and then it just kept rapping, and we were both like, you know what? No, we need to stop talking, put this conversation on pause, and go live so we can talk about it live.
It's funny how that happens sometimes.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay, well let me see. Well, let me share this tab. I hope so. Okay, good. Because I was on a different one, or I did the thing where I actually like logged in as card. So.
Very cool.
No,
very cool.
So alrighty, so yeah, so for polls, they're always fun to do. I forget what I was watching, but I was like, you know what? I'm just curious what everyone's like favorite light gun franchise is.
Yeah.
21 votes. Yeah.
So because it's a franchise
or game.
Or slash game. Well, I mean, I would because of the slash game, I'd add one. Just because I'd have to add one for my wife.
What did I miss? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I know another one. I should have put Carnival, but
yeah, man.
This survey wasn't for me though. So I'll tell you why I picked the choices, because House of the Dead is super popular. There's at least 3 of them. Same with Time Crisis, and then Terminator 2 and Area 51. Area 51 may have had a sequel. They only had one of those games, but I think depending on people's ages, they had a certain impact. So I think that's why.
No. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so my choice, like personally, out of that list, my choice was actually Time Crisis because of the mechanics, like that whole like press the pedal to duck and all that. It was cool. I was so obsessed with it that back in the PS1 days, they actually made a reverb gun con for the PlayStation 1 with a pedal. So you can actually, in your house, basically have a Time Crisis cabinet in your house. And that was awesome. I had all that stuff.
Dude, the people who make the Sin and Light gun, they have a Time Crisis pedal. Yo. This was a tough one because like Area 51, that one was neat with like all the virtual games. Terminator 2 was super, like that movie was like totally awesome. House of the Dead is great because of horror, but I agree with you. Time Crisis, I remember playing that in the arcade. And most games, like you'd have to like shoot the gun off screen. This one you had the friggin' pedal, and you could actually like hide.
Yeah. No, it was so cool because it added that extra, like, you know, tactile and tactical method to playing, and it changed the way I thought about light games after I played it. It was really cool. And Area 51 and Terminator were both really, really good. As far as like, you know, the traditional light gun games, because it kind of like pulls you in, you know, it kind of pulled you into like I don't know, I guess like, you know, it makes you part of the experience, a part of the movie, right?
Totally. So, while we're here on this page, speaking of light guns or squirt guns, if you haven't yet, check out you know, our buddy Retro Ralph. So he did a video like with Mason, who like edits and does stuff, and came down.
Oh yeah, I watched that video.
Okay, yeah, where he did the music, and it's great because you can see Ralph gets squirted when he gets them wrong.
Yes,
It makes it too much fun. So that made my day.
They like squirted him for like no reason once. Yes. He was like, "Why did you even do that?"
Yeah,
so you gave him a squirt gun, dude. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? Oh my goodness! But yeah, no, it was great. It was great.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I like to try to do those polls when like life isn't like all like crazy and
for sure. And I got to get back in, like, you know, doing some stuff with the community tab. But you know, there's going to be a lot of other really, really, really crazy stuff coming in hot over on our side, because the end of the month is approaching, and I got to do my due diligence for those fine members of the Good Times Club. Yeah. I gotta open the backstage gates and let these guys in and tell them what's going on. But I got a lot of plans. 23, if I can pull it off, 23 is gonna be a crazy year, dude. That's gonna be nuts. So
gotcha. I can't. And to tell people, for some strange reason, my internet has been working fine, but intermittently I've just been like losing and coming back. So if I looked like I disappear for a second, I have no idea.
Yeah.
My internet's stupid, so that's all I can do.
It needs to like, where, you know, like it needs to figure itself out. But anyway, why don't we slide in to today's like topic of the night while also getting ready for the game of the night, which is some Golden Axe Warrior. But first, we're gonna actually just preface it while we're here before I lean in. So we're gonna talk about some Polymega, and you need to pay a bill. Nice. So yeah, our topic is going to be that Polymega news update, because it's been some, like, you know, like, there's lots of like hot and cold with the Polymega news update. Those of you that do not know, Polymega came out of seemingly nowhere to update everyone that was either waiting for more updates and more things to do with their Polymegas that they own, or more so for the people that, like myself, have yet to receive their base unit. It's like, man, it's been like years, plural, you know, what's going on? And they kind of finally gave an answer, and their answer was fourfold. Like, they announced 4 things at once, which is kind of nuts. You know, so I did a video. I did an update on it on Bacon Ice Cream Productions, and a lot of people are mixed with the news. So I figured, you know, hey, let's get a deep dive and you know, talk about that news update, and you know, see how everyone feels in the chat too, because I know there is someone in the chat that actually owns a Polymega. Little jelly, not gonna lie. But yes, it is pretty crazy. Wait. Okay, so I'm playing deep in a 17-year-old game right now. What 17-year-old game are you in? It's probably one of the MMOs, right? You know, like, it's got to be. So, yeah, and he yes, it's Pete. He has his poly base unit in 3 modules. I mean, so basically the news affects him absolutely zero, except for the controller update.
Yeah. That I
which is
thought was cool.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he likes it. Yes. Fan and Fiction knew the answer. Are you guys playing Guild Wars right now? Man, I miss Guild Wars. That was a cool,
I remember
cool
that
game. That was a neat game. But yeah, I mean, it's so weird for a company to be like, oh, well, so we can't have, we're still having production issues and we can't give you the thing that you ordered, years ago to a lot of people. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to spin up some kind of crazy infrastructure and allow you to use your computer basically as a Polymega and just start putting in disks and ripping them to a cloud. We're going to have cloud storage now, apparently. And then basically while you wait, use this virtual Polymega until you get your base unit, and then you get your base unit and you're off to the races. I've never seen anyone in any facet do this. It's always usually like, oh, well, please be patient, please be excited. We're gonna get you something cool. Maybe they announce like, oh, we're gonna give you an extra thingy when you finally get your base unit. Maybe you can get a module for free or something. Like that. That's, I mean, and we were speculating that might have been the case, but to be like, oh no, you actually get to kind of like preview this thing that we've been working on the side. And we're doing this all because we kind of feel bad we can't give you your base units. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird and wild. So it's the new controller. So let's talk about that real quick, because that's just, it's a thing. They basically made a DualShock 4 looking thing.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the base controller that comes with every base unit for moving forward. That's fine by me. I like the way the DualShock 4 feels. I'm very attuned to all of the button configurations on it, and it's very similar, so I'm okay with that. That's not a bad it's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. And as long as it's like, as long as it feels the same way, I'm going to be a happy camper. So that's fine by me. Then of course it's like that virtualization. What do they call it? They call it was it Polymega app, just the Polymega app, right? That's the other thing, that it is going to be a program that sits on your computer and basically is Polymega in an app. Then there's Polymega XL, which allows you to cloud store. That's the cloud storage thing. That's going to be the pay for model, because you got to pay for those servers somehow. So that's coming out of the patrons' pockets, and an undisclosed amount, right? We were talking backstage. I was like, well, what would you pay for a year of Polymega XL? For just the right to, I think it's like save games, cloud storage for your thing, for your cloud storage for your sword games, and something else. Patches. You can do online patching and like that kind of stuff. So there's all nice convenience features. But I'm thinking in my opinion, we're thinking like Nintendo Switch Online money, for that, right? I probably wouldn't pay more than I would pay for like the family plan single of a Nintendo Switch Online. So that's like, $50-$60 a year. That is what I'm thinking. That's what I would pay just off the bat, and I think that would be a good deal. I know storage isn't inexpensive, and if they're talking, hey, you can just load up and have hundreds of PS1 and Saturn games. I mean, they're not cheap storage wise. Some of these games are 300, 400, 500 meg a piece, so that adds up, and I realize that. But it's still, that's what I would do if I was them. I mean, if you're talking like Netflix territory, $15-$20 a month or something like that, I think I'm out. Because that's like, I can't pay for yet another subscription service just for the right to store my games online, to then pull them down every once in a while. But the cool thing for Polymega base unit users is, at least during the beta, obviously everything's free, and then after the beta, when you get your base unit from the day one you get your base unit, you get a year of whatever the service is for free. So you get a full year to pull everything down that you put up there while you were testing this thing.
Because you
get to pull that down to your base unit. I'm like, that's not bad.
No,
you get it free for the year, And then, if there's some convenience features that you really, really liked, and that price is, like I said, in that median area, all right, cool. Well, you get my ducats, and I'll throw down, and I'll keep the service. But if not, no, I'm out. It's goodbye, see ya. And then the answer to the question, well, what if you don't have a computer that has a disk drive, which is exactly what I have a computer with a disk drive, but I used to not have a computer with a disk drive. Polymega's answer was, well, let's just make basically a Polymega that's just the disk drive and sell that for $150, which is exactly what they're doing.
That's the capability to where you can also buy the modules too, right?
Correct. Okay. Yeah. So it's literally the Polymega without the Polymega part.
Yeah.
It's just the disk drive.
Yeah.
But you can put all of the modules onto this thing. It's called the Polymega Remix.
If you're gonna get the modules, otherwise you can buy like a USB CD burner for like $50.
Well, yeah, but you can't dump your ROMs unless you're getting if you want to wonder though, parts, you got to have either a ROM dumper somehow.
Yeah.
Or you have to buy a remix and the modules and put the cards in the modules. I don't necessarily think. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Polymega is going to win me over, and I will just convert directly from my maybe I'll just convert directly from my Retron 5 and start just exclusively playing on the Polymega. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm holding off on all these modules because it's like I don't want to just jump all in on this thing, because at least I knew for the disk drive thing, all those disk games, PS1, Saturn, 100% Saturn, and Sega CD, yes, I want a machine that can play those things effectively with good emulation, and I can store all those games on them. That's 100% that I'm down with that. So I only need a base module, really. Yeah. So I don't need I don't think I need, and I have a disk drive right now, so I don't need the remix, right? I'm not one of those things to I don't really need the remix. But like I said, who else is doing this?
Sure.
I understand that Play Magi must be shaking in their boots and having like customer after customer after customer just like banging down their door, like, where's my blankety blank base module? You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but for them to turn that whole thing around and be like, well, this is what we can do for you. This is it. Here it is. I gotta tip my hat to them, because I would have never thought that any company ever would have been like, well, actually, let's just produce all of this stuff and do all this back end work just because we know it's going to be a lot longer, because our lead times are garbage over there, in wherever they're making these things. And it's still going to be another, 20, 30, 40 weeks maybe to get the parts in, but at least we can give our customers something to play. And hat tip.
So here's my outside perspective for not owning a Poly. So the first thing I'll say with something like Polymega or Analog Pocket, when you order something that's like really custom with retro, and that it's like if that's like crowdfunded in some way or a pre-order, you're going to have to wait. So I think from that point, it's like either you know what you're getting into and you put down the money, or you don't. So that's why as far as like having to wait, like, I get why people are a little bit upset, but you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? Right. So it's kind of either, I hate to say it, but it's like either shut up and wait or cancel your order. That's what I mean.
But that's true. Yeah. But at the same time, like, if presented this option as someone who is in the shut up and wait camp, right?
Yeah.
Like, I see that as, well, you've just extended my consumer loyalty to you by doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to knock you for doing this. That's not a thing that's going to happen, because you're trying to do stuff for me that, again, not a lot of other companies do. And I've been in situations. Heck, I'm in a situation right now as far as like Kickstarter things. And I don't think I've talked about it too much, but I'm still waiting for a 3D printer that I bought in May, the year I started the job I'm currently in, and that was almost 4 years ago.
Wow! So
it'll be 4 years this May.
Yeah,
and I'm waiting for this 3D printer that I ordered on Kickstarter. Now, granted, I don't think it's coming. It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
But then there's also no communication.
Yeah.
Like,
I give them credit on that. So for me, looking at it, like, as far as like the standalone app, if you don't own a Polymega, I think so. For me, like I'll admit, I mean, they're not Steam. I mean, I'm spoiled by Valve and the fact that it's like you kind of own the thing as long as Steam exists. You don't have to pay. Polymega is separate, but there's another untapped market that they could get into, which it's like rip your own game, or if you have a ripped image like a ROM, you know that leaves them of legal liability, but it makes it easy for somebody who wants those bells and whistles and all that.
Their official comment on that capability is no comment, so you know what that means. So it's a wink wink nudge nudge kind of thing.
So for me, I don't like even the Nintendo. I don't like the idea of renting something versus owning, but like for owners, yes, and having the cloud, you have to pay for that. Now, as far as the announcement, if they, and we kind of talked about this, if they had just announced this separately, I think it would have been cool. But for me, it was underwhelming. What would have been like what would have been like up to the hype if they said, "Hey, for those of you who've been waiting, we've been working on a Game Boy and GBA module, and you're gonna get that."
Right.
Like if they threw that in, or if they said we're gonna let you buy that for $20, like that would have been,
or skipping ahead to Pete's module choice. Yeah.
That would.
We made a three-way Gen. We made a three-way Gen 2 module, and you get them all. Okay.
But to your point, Rich, at least they have communication. And so what I do like about Polymega, at least they do that. Unlike let's say someone like Analog, I mean, they let you know up front. But if you do want one of those like FPGA, like Super Nintendos or Genesis, you're gonna have to wait another year. So which for me, like again, it's like going into these things and you're plunking down your money. It's like you know you're going to wait. At least there's communication.
Yeah.
So I give them huge. It's interesting to see what it turns into. The Lite is an interesting option because of chip shortages. For me, I'm like, it is a little bit costly, but then again, if you're going the Polymega or the modules, it's like your upper tier, like luxury. So it's kind of like if you're going into that ecosystem, you're going to have to pay. It's not like Evercade, but it's not meant to be. So it's it's not fair to compare. But at least they're doing something, right? So I do give them props for that. Yeah. It may not be for me, but as long as other people are happy, that's all that. The N64, that I'll be curious on, because with N64 is kind of that special system where you almost have to like tweak emulator. You have to like tweak the emulator, add plugins. I mean, hell, Nintendo has trouble, but I'll be curious to see what would make the system awesome. I think they're sold out, but they do have like that light gun.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that he's waiting for. He's waiting for too. And because Saturn and PS1 are two of the things that I'm waiting for to play, that light gun is very, very, like it might be the only other thing I might try to get in line for, because man, that's awesome to be able to use it on any screen. Tasty times, man, tasty times. So yeah, I mean, and of course, I mean, to Pete, it's no real impact other than you can get an extra controller. And then yes, they will soon announce the digital marketplace, as well as announcing more things about they will actually announce more things about the system itself, XL, how it works, what the pricing model is, and that's all coming in a month, all that stuff. Pete continues here. The thing that is cool, most of my games on Poly Instant built. Yeah, Game Genie and GameStar codes right there. Exactly. Yeah. Plus, you can add your own, your own stuff. Yeah. I mean, but it's the other reason why is that the ease for patching, for language patching, that's all built into the Polymega system as well, which is the reason why, right after this announcement, I think I was just telling Ed in the backstage too. I went out and bought another copy of Lunar Magic School for the Sega Saturn, because that's the game I want to play first on a Polymega, whatever it is. Like I'm all about that, because I've never played that game and I love Lunar so much. I basically do everything that I can. What's up, DGC?
No, I get it. It's kind of like, for a lack of comparison, it's kind of like the Evercade equivalent to like games that you already own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It is cool, and it's like that whole like what is it? Your own curation, right? It's personal curation.
Yes. And it scratches that itch, because to your point, Rich, you're like, hey, I can buy the Japanese version. Let's be honest, it's going to have cooler artwork on the book, on the booklet and everything, anyways. And you get the neat physical copy, and it rips it and translates it, so you can still play it. So that's like, and I think that's who this is for, is people who like, either like yourself, or maybe you don't have, let's say, like, like a huge collection, but you have those select games and you want that experience where it's worth it, or you have someone like Pete who does have a huge collection and he wants one place to put it. So it's like it's like multi-purpose.
That's right.
To me, the fact of whether it's like FPGA or software emulation, like, that's irrelevant. I think it's just great to have a device where you can, if anything, and I understand because it's customized, I think it's a little bit on the high end, but that's what it is for a customized device. I mean, yeah. Other devices are.
That's another thing. I mean, Pete's got a Polymega that made me jelly. DJC's got an LTO flash for his Intellivision. That's super jelly right there. Those things, one, they're hard to get, they're hard to come by, and two, when they do come by and you can order one, jump in. If you're an Intellivision fan, you got to have one of these because it's the best way to basically save your collection. Because it's a flash card for your Intellivision. Just put those ROMs on there, they'll run just fine, and they're running on original hardware, so it's great. It's great stuff. Yeah, I almost jumped in. DJC. I almost jumped in on the holidays. It was like right around Thanksgiving or something like that. They had a post that said that there was going to be some more available, and I just didn't have. I think it's like $150 or something like that for the LTL. Wow. I just didn't have it, but I would have gotten it. The other thing I didn't have is a working Intellivision right now, so there is that. So but those you can find. You can find a working Intellivision.
Yeah,
but I do have my ultimate. I have my ultimate flashback. So it's kind of like I have an LTO.
Yeah, but it's tricky because you either have to have a CRT or like HDMI. You know what I mean? Like you have, like, exactly. To your point, you have to have a way to play it.
Yep.
And it's like
you have converters and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I get it. It's kind of like you had the money at some point, but it's like, no, I want to get the XP, and I totally don't know the Evercade, and I totally don't blame you for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to decide. It's and it can be that you can play and you have versus trying to find a way to play. Yeah, but that's
even more lucky. Friend of the channel sent him one. Oh man.
Although I tell you though, I want to say that awesome. Like with the exception.
Oh no.
Like those games, like people like those are, you can still get those like for $5 or $10. Like those are still pretty cheap for loose carts and some in box.
Oh, what for the Intellivision?
Intellivision, Atari, like that whole Atari.
All your
with the exception of all your base games.
Yeah, all your base games are definitely like that. It's Intellivision is if the cart was manufactured after like 86, 85, 86 and beyond, then those cartridges are not only rare, but they're also they get super expensive until like the very end when you get to like Spiker and Stadium Mud Buggies and all that. They're just like astronomically priced. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it is kind of crazy. Poor.
I think there's forces out there to get me because I swear I was like watching YouTube, I was watching streaming services.
It's just getting you. It's just
Spectrum. Yeah, I don't know why. And I can see the icon. I'm like, really? My internet's been working the whole day during my job. I'm like, really? And this problem didn't happen until when we logged on to do Carg. Like, it knows. I'm like, really? The one thing I've been looking forward to. Now you're gonna
right? Exactly. Well,
hey, at least
why don't we change gears and maybe doing the new setup. Stadium and Spiker. I saw last go for 2K. Yeah. That's crazy. You saw a stadium go for 2K? That makes me hurt. That hurts my heart because I found one last year right around my birthday. It was $450 complete in box. And I was like, sweet. And maybe I can get like the pool to get to just go and grab one. And I got like halfway there and I just didn't have it. And I was like, all right, well, I'll get another one. But if they're both going for 2K now, well, that's not happening. Yeah, I need them too. I think everybody needs them, unless your name is C-Mart, then you have 12 of them or something.
The other thing that I think is really super neat, like about the Intellivision, Atari 7800, is now there's like more like aftermarket games than there were for like the original.
Oh yeah, yeah. That homebrew scene is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Also, though, speaking of homebrew show himself is in the chat. DJC. Yeah, there he is. He's the homebrew show man. Did you premiere that first episode, DJC? Did you do that yet? If not, I'm plugging it anyway. He's gonna have a whole thing. It's his new day. I think it's like, was it was it Fridays or Saturdays or one of those days he's going to do a show. It's all about Intellivision and Atari homebrews and stuff. But yeah, they're crazy. I listened to the Intellivisionaries podcast, their last episode that they put out. I want to say it was Paul did like a count. Oh, cool. Yeah. DJC is doing 2K, D2K this Friday. Nice. The revision of the Donkey Kong, like the better version, right? But yeah, it was either Paul or maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was C-Mart on the podcast. They counted the amount of releases that happened this year, and then compared it this year and last year, and then compared it to the original 125. And I think officially now there has been more homebrew Intellivision cartridges made in the last 2 or 3 years than the entire original 125. So there are more than 125 homebrews that are new, that are in circulation right now for the Intellivision. Then more cartridges than there have ever been, which is awesome. So
I would say maybe another topic for another show, but I just I wish my only issue with oh cool he's having it with like some say like emulation or even clone consoles is just the compatibility, right? Like why can't somebody make a console that can play like Atari 7800, 2600 and a television? It has HDMI, you can plug in it over controllers, especially like that would be great. That may be a topic for another show, but that would be like that's the only challenging thing, right? Is that sometimes to be able to play this stuff in the technology, like not everyone has a CRT and
exactly. But I mean, it's just amazing though that like there are people out there that are really testing these things and like really kind of pushing like DJC says here. I mean, they're pushing the hardware. They're trying to come with new stuff, and it's great. The community's awesome. Everybody's in the television and television homebrew community. They're all awesome. It's really, really cool. When you do Retron, oh man, yeah. Woo. Yeah. If there was there's a 77, right? Why not have a 79, Retron 79, and just be like, boom, here's an Intellivision Retron. Sign me up. I'd be the first one to buy one.
Dude,
those things they go for a sub $100.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
As long as it can play homebrew, because that's the only thing that
right. Yeah, you have to support homebrew. Yeah. But even if you did it the way where you can do the ROM downloads on a cart, because that's how Circus Convoy works on the Retron.
Yeah.
You have to put the ROM file on there, but it's fine. As long as you can upgrade the firmware on this thing so it can run homebrew, I would totally do that. And then I'd just buy digital homebrews and then do it and then do that.
I wonder if Polymega might start doing that. I wonder if because that would make sense if they start selling homebrews from different, even if there isn't an Intellivision module, why not have an emulator for it?
That would be cool,
dude. That's what they should do.
The INTV version of like the Retron has a cartridge slot that does Coleco 7800 and Intellivision. Heck yeah, man. Ooh. Yeah. You're selling me on all of the things.
Right?
Like, somebody go and get Hyperkin off of the. Well, Hyperkin wants to. What they were doing? They're trying to do the Dreamcast 2 on Twitter. They were those guys, and they're trying to do like new plastic instruments for like Guitar Hero, and trying to bring Rick Rock Band and stuff. I'm like, no, guys, go back in time. Give us the Retron 79 with all of that stuff. Yeah.
Hey, maybe if Atari gets funded, maybe they can be the first people to kind of come out with like an official.
The Atari game pool. Yeah. Well, so why don't we do this? We're gonna change gears. We're gonna start some Golden Axe Warrior.
We better
before we talk for the next 30 minutes, and they don't even turn it on, even though that's the thumbnail. But yeah. So let's do this. I'm gonna do this. I got my stinger ready. I'm hitting this button. I'll see you in the box, and we start talking about. Let's start talking about that. That's a great topic to talk while we're hacking and slashing our way through this thing. Boom.
Yeah, put me off to the side and have yourself be in the middle.
All right, cool. So we're gonna do this one and then this one.
Yes.
There we go. Nice. So so yeah, before we go on talking about the So that's not necessarily a Kickstarter. It's a Republic funding round, right, for Atari, trying to get that money. They're looking for $1 million trying to make it Atari games. But real quick, right before that, where are we? We are in the range to do the very last dungeon in the standard game before you have to do the final dungeon to get that old guy, the Death Adder.
Heck yeah, man.
So here we are. Right here is the rightmost and southmost map in the entire game. This is O15. We got to get ourselves to L14, but first got to make a pit stop in M14 for the final pot of the entire game. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go for it. And I like to, like, now that we have like all of the things, we got Thief's Key, we got everything. We're just like, let's go. Let's just do it. So I can't wait. And we're all hooked up. We got golden apple, we got magic oil, we got a feather. Not that we really need it, but
right.
We're ready to rock. We're ready to rock.
Man.
So anyway, let's go. So I should be able to just go down here and go down here.
Yeah. No.
Then, whoops. Yeah.
So my whole thing, even like with the Retron, for example, right? Like it plays this game great.
Yeah.
My only so here's where I am as far as when you talk about like original hardware versus, let's say, FPGA versus aftermarket in the whole retro scheme. My only issue is, like, I think something like the Retron is awesome until it's not. Like,
sure.
like I don't care for I don't care that it's simulation. I don't care that it rips the ROM and pulls to that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it does like the same thing on Evercade. Like, hey, you're playing on a console, you're enjoying the experience. The thing that I don't like is the disappointment. And like, what I mean is how you got like the sequel to this on Game Gear, and like that doesn't play. You know what I mean? Like that's like, and it's not just unique to the Retron. It's with other things. Like I can understand if there's like a handful of games like Super Nintendo mode stuff, like if there's certain chips that don't work, but for me it's like I just want something that can play like 90% like all the old and new. Like come on,
I totally agree.
You know, like especially if you want to buy that cool like Mega Cats or Pico game, like come on, you want it to work. You know, like, and I hear what you're saying that you can download the ROM separate. But then for me to have like a console to pop in a cart, like I would just load that on my Steam Deck. Like that ruins the experience. Like if you're gonna make one to play carts, play all the carts. That's all that I don't care what method. If it's original hardware, if it's emulation, just play the carts because it's about the experience, right?
Exactly.
You know, that's my whole thing.
Also, just gonna say, so we just filled up on Magic Pots. We got the final Magic Pot, so I've got it all full. And the first thing they make you do is use 3 of them to get out of your situation. That's bogus. That's bogus game. I don't like it.
No, but, just to get through it.
Just to get through, we got to use 3.
Oh, and then the other weird thing too, don't forget the Retron is that I guess one of the reasons they don't make them anymore is because like there was like some sketchiness like for the GBA, what was licensed, what wasn't. So you have like that weirdness too, right? So it's,
that is true.
Yeah, I know it'll never happen, but I'm like, man, Sega, just release a console that plays like Genesis and Master System and game. But I know that'll never happen. But that would be cool, though.
I mean, it's yes. I mean, well, they're too busy doing the minis, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So getting back to that that whole like Atari thing.
Yeah.
Atari
the money. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're gonna make games, right?
Yes.
So I did a lot of research about that whole endeavor, right? And I wound up finding out that there was actually some others that are tangentially related to Atari and all of their efforts and everything like that.
Those guys are brutal.
Yeah, they are. The thing actually said like watch out for those penguins. I just want to make sure that my stuff wasn't flashing.
Looks like Zelda.
It's just like Zelda. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But yeah, they're pretty brutal. So yeah, there were people involved in not only Fig, but Digital Eclipse and Atari all like are wrapped in the Fig Republic miasma, and it on Republic, Digital Eclipse once did a funding round just like Atari is doing right now.
Oh, okay.
And the result of that funding round was the Atari 50th collection and the Turtles collection. They all came out of that, plus one more. So it can be done to go and like I guess crowd fund or angel fund a project, get some money, put out excellent products that people buy. So like I'm just gonna go ahead and say like I hope that it winds up becoming something that does get funded, and and out of it we get great games, right?
Yeah.
So because you never know, and obviously there have been things in the past that don't work out. Like again, I always go back to that. I'm still waiting 4 years for a 3D printer. And that was a Kickstarter and it went over 10 mil. So someone's walking around with 10 mil right now, and I don't have a 3D printer. So I mean, obviously the labs and all that stuff, they were overseas in China, and that was pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and lots of things went wrong. So
since you brought up Atari 50, that I will say that I hope we see something else like that in our lifetime, because for me, going through what I think I've talked about, watching the videos, playing the games once or twice, like that was just 5 hours. So it's like, once you go through the videos, it's like you get your money's worth from that, because chances are you probably won't like rewatch those. You won't do that experience for a while because you've done it. But what I love about that is so like there are other games that I do want to, that I probably like, do want to explore, want to play more Haunted House, but I do play like my guilty pleasures, and that, something like Food Fight, or like Cloak and Dagger. Like there's a few of those where maybe you jump in for 5 or 10 minutes, which is great. And then while I'm there, I'm like, oh, well, we have Ninja Golf. Yes, I can play that on my Evercade, but because I'm here, I'm going to go into that. So I love that collection, and I haven't fully explored it. Yes, there's like my go-tos, but I just, there's other games that like I want to. But I do wonder, so
that internet connection is the worst. Oh, crap. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was threatening to. You know what? I didn't want to jinx myself. I was threatening to go on my phone. I was saying that this has kept me. So, what I was saying is that that while we would like those new like emulation FPG consoles, they're not going to be for the general public. It's they're not going to make as much money, but like all the recharge games are.
Sure. Yep.
Like they go to us old guys that are like, wow, did I just say that? That like, hey, this is this cool game. I love it. I want the recharged. And also like the newer kids, like, I kind of remember Pac-Man. Well, they didn't done a Pac-Man recharge, not Atari, but you know what I mean? Like,
right.
They may kind of like remember that.
The Atari titles, yeah.
Yeah. And they
people
want to go back
remember those.
So I do. And so here's the thing that I like that Atari does do. I'm glad that for the recharge games, in the digital format, at least, that it's not a collection. Like, in other words, I can just buy Black Widow. I can just buy, I can do a la carte. Things go on sale. It's for every system. Now, of course, if that came to something like Evercade, yes, obviously we want it as a collection. But I hope they do get funded and they continue. Like, could they start, like Dragonfire? I know, like iMagic, has the rights. Or could we see like a Hero Recharged or some of those Activision? Like,
sure, yeah.
Like it's Limitless. Like I like the way that they're going, because the games, they're 10 for the most part. Most of them are like with a recharge, at least they're $10. You wait enough to go on sale, get them.
Yep. Nice. Finally getting some stuff here. Nice.
Just have to go with the flow, but yeah, I really like.
Oh. Where are you? Oh. I keep missing it by like just seconds.
IOI.
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
I was just looking at the spectrum map to see, but I was like, the one thing I do like about Atari, it's like, yes, it's not what it once was, but at least I will say, like, huge kudos to them that they're coming back, and they're not doing something like, oh, let's just put out like some new, like they're not making something like Spider-Man. Not that like a Spider-Man wouldn't be, like they're sticking within their universe,
Sure.
Besides getting the rights, like they're not just saying, hey, let me go ahead and create this new game that's all like a modern AAA game that has nothing to do with our franchise. Like I like that they're so that they respect their properties and they're recharging them. Like
right.
Yeah.
Like, it's 100%. And like I said, on the AKR video, that is exactly what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I don't care what anyone else is doing with or whatever else you want. And this is me. It's me, my personal thing, whatever. Please, 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 please give us more Recharged. Give us more AKRs. Give us more like all of these kind of crazy projects that Atari's been putting. And then like, please also Digital Eclipse. I don't know what you guys have to do, but give us another one of those 50 things for something else, please.
Yeah.
Like do in television, do Coleco, do like, get the rights to Nintendo and do Nintendo. Like, oh my goodness, just do it. That was just fantastic.
Yeah, like with the documentaries and the video. So that would be, yeah. No, but Coleco would be neat. Yeah, Coleco and Intellivision, that would be like, Nintendo, of course, they're, probably, but like ColecoVision and Television, like, dude, that would be awesome. That's like, in that era, like that would be.
Yeah.
And because the other thing that's neat too about the Atari, like some of those prototype, like Caverns of Mars, like there's a lot of games like that. They did like the thing, you get so much value because let's say if there was just the documentary part, let's say if that was like a movie or DVD, like that's $20.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you get all the other collections of games, and then you get like those unique games. So like you get more than $40. If you're buying it on Steam, like you're getting more than $40.
Yep.
Let's just say like something like that. Like I could have got, Elden Ring is more expensive, but like I could have gotten that or something else on sale, but I chose to get Atari. Like that, like that
right.
speaks. And for me, I'm not somebody who will just like pay full retail for a digital game day one, but that was something special, and I didn't want to wait.
Right.
For me, that's like for me, that's something that's huge. And actually, I was holding off because I wasn't sure if I was going to get a Steam Deck, and I'm like, I'd rather have it on Steam than on PS4 because on PS4 I'm locked to that at least.
Right, for sure.
At least on Steam I can play it on anything. But yeah, that was just to that level of caliber. That was great. But who knows? I would definitely like to see some other stuff like that, or maybe if like some devs, like if they just get and like the former members of Activision, maybe of course they don't maybe own the rights to a lot of that stuff, but yeah, it would be neat though. Maybe they could, with Microsoft, Blizzard, whoever owns them, like do something like that. Like that would be like that. Like that's like a take my money. Like that's
no, yeah.
I know I'll get so much value because then it's not just when it's so for me, like if it is like, so if it is like, let's talk about this. So if it is just like a ROM dump, right? Like I'll take something like Konami, like the Contra collection, right? You're getting all the US versions, you're getting all the Japanese versions, you're getting the PAL, you're getting the arcade and all that, and you're getting some borders. Yes, you can't do full 4x3, but for something where it's just a ROM dump, let's say where you're not really getting any extras except for like an easy save state menu, having to find the ROMs, like that retails for $20, but for digital, like for me that's like too much. But like something on sale for like under $5, for digital all day long. Physical copy, that's different, right? Like a Blaze put it out. So I think it kind of depends. If you get a lot more, then it's totally worth it. If it's just a ROM dump, then not as much to kind of say, hey, I always want to have access to these ROMs. So that's kind of where I stand. If it's just a ROM dump, $5 is my price point. If it's something fantastic like the Atari collection, I'll pay that premium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to be good. Like even something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, I don't own that, but for me, okay, here's the thing. Let me take a step back. I'm not a fan on just having access to artwork or just having access to images by themselves where you can just browse through a library, because I kind of feel like you could search the internet. That's a little bit boring. But, and this is their brilliance, what the Atari 50 did is they just didn't say, oh, here's a list of all these schematics. they actually made that into a game where it's like, oh, click here, see the cool Atari handshake. Click here, you can zoom in on this box. Oh, and you can play a game. Like they came up with the perfect formula where they mixed all that stuff in so it leads you down. And then once you go through it, if you want to go back and reference it, like they did it right. That's all I can.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
That's all I can say. The other collections where I don't. I know. Well, actually, no. On the PS4, I do have like the Mega Man collections. One thing they did do, like they added like boss rush modes or how fast you can meet bosses. I don't have like the Disney Afternoon collection, but I know they did. They did similar things. So I think if you add more stuff, so that's interesting. So you know what? I don't know if that's true. So here's what's funny. Here's what's funny about that. And I can kind of talk about. So I own a Steam Deck. And I do own Evercade, and that's cool if that's your preference. But they serve different things. So let's say if I was somebody to where I didn't care about physical anything, right? All I cared about was digital, and I wanted to play things digital, and I didn't care about playing like retro games at all. Then yes, I agree with you 100%. For me, because the flexibility, you can dock it. The Valve Store has been around. What I do like about the Steam.
Oh no, he froze again. Come on, guy.
Am I coming back? For me, it's an indie powerhouse, right? So something like roguelikes, like Dead Cells, and things like that are like living games that really, let's say if they could fit on an Evercade cart, you probably wouldn't want to put it on there because it's one of those games. Well, it's not like as a service. There are changes for it, right?
Yeah, of course.
So for me particularly, like I really like those kind of indie games. I like those roguelikes that even don't really easily exist on consoles. Maybe they do. So that's what I like about the Steam Deck. Of course, if I want to throw some Coin X and play Robo, I can. But what I love about the arcade is that the Indie Heroes 2 collection, I never knew all those games existed. Yeah, I could head down and I try. I'm just gonna. I feel like someone's trolling me. So yeah, so it's interesting. No, so Nathan, so you have a PS5 or Switch. So here's what's interesting about this. So, again, it depends on what you want for the discovery. So for me, since I did get a Steam Deck, I have not played my PS4. I've still played my Evercade. For me, like if I just only wanted the latest Nintendo titles, yes, I could see getting a Steam Deck. But otherwise, I mean, I could see getting a Switch. But I think it just depends on what you want to play. But yeah, having too many consoles. But that's the beauty, right? Like it's like we have so many different options. Whether it's physical, whether it's digital. I think it's great. But the one thing I will agree with you, Nathan, is yes, you can have too many consoles. And you want to moderate that. Like, I think it's great. Like, I would take Rich, for example, because he is more like, you're a better example. Like, you have like your Retron to play like all your physical, like, SNES, SNES, all, our era of like Sega, like minus like TurboGrafx or those other things that we really didn't like. You've got that. You've got the big boy behind you to play arcade. You also have a Switch. You have an Evercade. But so like, what's great is like Rich has the like, I want to say that like, the stuff that he has, he actively plays, right? Like that's the whole like sole purpose of the console. So I totally get you. I think once you get out of that, like to the point where it's like, then you have to decide like, hey, do I want this console just to be able to have, just to have it, or am I going to play it? Or you could be like Pete, who's too deep in the mini console. So yeah, I think it's great. But then again, if you're the person that has like 50 consoles and you love it and you have room, that's fine too. For me, I do like to scale things, which is funny because I'm like, well, when I have my XP, I already had to move my OG Evercade, so I just need to get a better shelf. But yeah, it's definitely, you definitely want to decide, and then yeah, EverDrives are neat. So it just, I think at the end of the day, and I've always said this, it's like, if you just want to play games, then yeah, emulate. Want to play games, you want to go the cheap route. Emulation, 1000% is the way to go. If let's say, like in this experience, like Golden Axe Warrior, this was like, one of Rich's favorite games growing up. This had like such a meaning to him. He wanted a pristine copy. it's the whole experience, being able to touch the cart, touch the book. Then it makes sense to get physical. But then again, he's very selective in what he collects. Like I think that's important. Like, and actually, our RGB 45, he did a video. He actually did a video where he's selling his retro collection, which I think was interesting. He makes some good points. He's like, these are the carts that are meaningful to me. He's like, I've got boxes of stuff to where it's not meaningful to me, and I'd rather have the cash. So that makes it's different for everybody, right? Like that makes total sense. So
yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's like, as various people will say, play what you love how you play. I think the issue that comes for us where people are gatekeeping, they're like, no, the only way you can play is on original hardware connected through an RF through like a CRT. It's like, come on. It's like, if that's the way that you want to play. But for me, like, I like pixels. I like seeing stuff in HD. So it's like, whatever way you want to play. Everdrives are neat because you can play on original hardware, but you won't break the bank. So there's a reason. Yeah, good topic there, Nathan. I mean, there's a good reason for for having everything. And then of course, depending on everyone's lifestyles, not everybody maybe has the time or the way to tinker. to tinker with stuff. Like the Retron is great. Actually, you can pop in your game, and what's super neat though about like the Retron is that you can actually back up your save files.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
So there's all kinds of stuff. And oh, you know what? So and I do apologize, I kind of skipped past it. Somebody, see if I can find it, but they asked about like the like the mini consoles for the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. It's too far up. Again, that's another way to play. But I know I did, like, when I went to Games Fest last year, I did have the opportunity where when it was like $40, I could have gotten the PlayStation 1, but what held me back is that I'm like, yeah, then again, you can download images for it, but then you kind of have to decide, like, at the end of the day, if it's just like an emulation machine that doesn't bring you back as much nostalgia, then it's kind of like, why? Like, I would have rather have had like the mini NES or Super NES and then hack that and just put like Nintendo or Super Nintendo. Like, that would have been more meaningful.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it keeps you focused, because the other thing too, let's face it, and sometimes I've run into this dilemma on the Steam Deck, which is why I've had to make collections. It's like, what the hell do I want to play? Like, you can have the Netflix effect.
Yeah, of course.
I've had that happen with carts too. But the trick that I've learned is that, like, even with Evercade, just like right now, like in my VS, I just have Indie Heroes 2 in there, nothing else. Just pop that in. Don't think too much, play a game, you're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
So he's up there in our age. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was Lord Jarium. Yeah. No, I haven't bought the. I think, like, so today, like, this rarely happens. Like, sometimes you can, like, see like the Genesis ones. I don't know about this in the store for like $20. If I found any, with the exception of PlayStation, just because like the stock games on that are meh for what they chose, but the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, if I found that in the store for like under $30, especially like new in the box, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Like, there's no question. But when some places, like, you go and they're charging you just $100 for just the base unit that's used without the controller, without the hookups, it's like,
yeah.
Well, with the power brick, really, you don't need the hookups, because it's like, come on.
That's true. Oh man, this is gonna be rough.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Yeah. Hopefully, I haven't been distracting you too much. That's kind of funny, because when I would start to get off and talk, get on a rant, like, the internet would cut me off. I'm like, come on, man. Almost switch and get a Steam Deck. Yeah, so definitely. The thing I would say that I really like about the Steam Deck, since you brought that up, Nathan, compared to something like a Switch, is, for one, the library, right? So, like, if you don't care about the Nintendo-focused games and you want, like, those cool indie gems, and also, too, Steam stuff goes on sale a lot more, right? Like, for Nintendo, you're at the mercy of the Nintendo store. But what's super cool about the Steam Deck is you can tinker with it. You can install plugins. Actually, sometimes I need to make a video, and you can just, like, you can change little things from the animations to the sounds. Just, like, for example, like, by default, the Steam Deck, all the games look like square boxes. You can make them rounded. And you can adjust the battery life, right? That's what I love. You can tweak it. You can adjust the battery life with the built-in features, and then you can also add power tools and adjust the CPU. So with most indie game, I get a good 4 or 5 hours, and if I'm playing something, let's say the Pac-Man DMake from the Namco collection, that's like 5 or 6. So some of them are like Retro Dodo. You can easily get like 5 hours. So you can tinker with it, but you're not having to hunt down the games. It's just kind of like as you're playing it, you set the profile once, and if you like to tinker with that type of tinkering, I like to do. Gil Amaro, and I do apologize saying since it seems like it can accurately run emulators, not HCL, HLE.
Oh man,
what's HLE?
I'm not sure. Maybe like some kind of emulation engine.
Okay, I just don't want to say that word because of the YouTube algorithm. But so we'll see. Here's the thing. Yeah, no, the Steam Deck it is powerful, right? But for me, I've messed with CoinOp X because it already has like a curated collection of ROMs and some arcades. I thought about maybe messing with some other stuff, but yeah, it's kind of funny because for right now I don't need to because I can play a lot of that stuff through CoinOps. There maybe are a few things that I'd like to play, but like with the Contra collection, getting a Steam key for $4, like and I have all of them, even if I only ever just play Contra, like I like that. And yes, there's achievements which are neat. So it just depends at the end of the day. But for me though, the one thing I will say about the deck versus like something like the Switch is it's the first handheld premium console for its price range where you feel like it's premium. Like you get good controls, you get good joy pads, you get good Joy-Cons. Yes, it's $400, but like you're paying for that. Can't wait till I can get my hands on a limited edition. I mean, of course, keep in perspective their different price ranges, but the only thing. So maybe it's just so. And Pete, if you're still here, you can relate to this because you're a handheld gamer. One thing that does baffle me is if somebody, let's say, they get a Steam Deck, or they do get a Switch. I guess even a Switch, or I'll even throw in like the Analog Pocket with a dock. For me, it's interesting if you get a machine that's designed to be portable, but you mainly play it dock. Maybe the Switch I can understand because you don't have to like pay anything else. But like for me, the Steam Deck, like I love the fact that it's portable. I like to play it like portable. It's kind of weird if somebody always keeps that in a docked mode. Like I kind of feel like if you were going to do that, then I don't know, it might be better off just getting a PC. But for me, being that I work at a computer all day, I like that I can just step away with it. But then again, I realize not everyone has like the passion, let's say like me or Pete do for a handheld gamer.
Right.
Where I think that comes from is, so going back in the day when the Game Boy came out, and we all know that like, having TVs in the house was premium, right? Like, if your mom's watching Murder, She Wrote, there's no way you're playing your Nintendo. Right. With the Game Boy, especially being like, young teenager, it was kind of about control. Like, hey, here's this portable system. I can play anywhere I want as long as I have light. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of neat. Like even now, like with the way that like my house is set up, I kind of have the couch on the side, and if I want to watch, I can play it that way from the TV. But but here's kind of like the problem though, right? If I'm doing something on the TV, me and my wife, sometimes if we're chilling on the couch, she'll maybe show me some funny things or some clips on Facebook. If I have a handheld device, I can still play that and I can be more interactive with her. Versus if you're like looking and staring at a TV, it's trying to
Oh man, he's real frozen this time.
If this is like annoying as hell, it's annoying for me too that it's cutting off. So yeah, to each their own. But I do like if you're just kind of like hanging out. In this day and age, you have like family members that are maybe on their phone. Everybody can kind of be on their devices, but you're not like sucked into it. You have the volume low. It's less intrusive, is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
And for me, I'm the type of gamer too that when I do play those games, I'm pretty much quiet for the most part. That's one of the reasons why a while back I kind of had to stop playing Call of Duty because I would get angry. I mean, that's a PV. Like I would get angry. Kind of like how you're, yeah.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is rough. I don't know I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Oh, I know.
Because it's I have to get in there and kill all of those enemies. I have like next to nothing.
Yeah. And I'm not being helpful because I know people are. Well, no, the chat's awesome to bring up good topics, and I'm.
Oh no, this is great. It's fantastic.
So if I'm not distracting you, so. But yeah, but for real though, when I played Call of, like I became another person, and I didn't like that. Like it caused me to be rude to my family because I would get mad. So I had to get those things up. Yeah, switching the Steam Deck. But again, the other thing though too is don't forget is that Valve, unless they go under, they've and I've seen other videos. The great thing that Valve did is they don't charge a premium for cloud save. They don't charge you anything. They instead of making the consumer pay for that. They charge the publishers the 30%, and then you get all the other bells and whistles for free, which is great. Hey, Atari Creep, what up, foo?
What's going on?
We're just talking all kinds of things, and I'm trying to deal with my internet. But yeah, we love the interaction from the chat. That's
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
One of the things that the funny thing is that when we have episodes like this, like me and Rich don't need a topic. If you all bring up the topics and we interact, like we love that more than anything.
100%.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like jokingly say that like we have like the topics are just like fillers until we get the chat going.
Yeah.
Of course, when we have like special guests and all that.
Yep, which is awesome.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh, speaking of special guests. I've been like straight up binge watching MC Mur.
Nice.
I mean, it's weird because it's like, okay, some of the stuff that he's talking about in some of the videos, like I've gone back like to a year back.
Oh wow.
Someone just isn't relevant anymore. But the way he tells the story of like all of his things, I mean, it's entertaining. Like I don't care what he's talking about. I'm just gonna watch him. It's crazy.
But see, it takes a lot of work to do that, right? Because you have to go out, film the thing in the moment, and then you have to like reflect back. But I like that though, and he keeps it to like a tight 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Is some people, it's just because there would be a few other people that I would watch, and either they would be into too much for the money and not care about, keeping some things for themselves and like cleaning things up and putting it back in, or after a while when you watch somebody film for an hour the camera, there's nothing is special. And EMC Mur does that. Like Collector's Luck is another guy because I think he still does it for like full-time living. Like he had I want to say he actually has like one of the retail like disc resurfacers, like the professional grade ones that cost like a few grand, and he bought a used one for half. But he still keeps stuff for his collection, and he did a video where he has like a crazy like Mario fan and all, so and he keeps it to a tight 10 minutes. But EMC Mur though, he's also great because his personality is awesome. So
yes, yeah. It's really good. It's really good times.
But so yes, so yes, and that's kind of the good thing because you're getting it from Valve. You don't have to worry about being scammed. There was like if you guys watch like Gaming on Linux or Fan the Deck, there was another website that it was weird. They claimed that they could sell a Steam Deck at a discount, but they were also selling accounts. They were like doing some shady things. So you can only get it through Steam, which is good because you know that you're getting it through them. Unlike some other, let's say like Chinese knockoff devices, but you're gonna have a Steam account anyways, and then you get points to buy cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, But the great thing though is you can, like when I got mine, there's like no wait, and the shipping is included. And it comes in the carrying case and all that. So yeah, you have to get it through Steam. But I think that's one of the reasons why I went with them versus like some of the other, like there are more powerful devices, but they're like $1,000 or more, and they're not through Steam. And Steam like fixes games, which is they're doing God's work for the devs, right? Like they understand. Like the great thing is Steam is like, hey, we're going to put this thing out here at cost or maybe lose a little money, but we don't care because we're making it up in software. And I love that. Like that model works because they already had that base to do it. And they, if a game is popular enough, they're gonna fix it because they want you to buy it. And it's insane how many more customers. They did like what Apple did for iTunes, because even if like you're like me where you're picking off and getting games like a few bucks here and there, as opposed to not buying any games, it all adds up. If like 1 million people spend $1 on a game in like a week, that's $1 million. You know what I mean? Like that's nuts. They get 30% of that. It's like
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, no. I think they may look into that, but I think the reason why they didn't is because that they can keep their costs low. Like, to me, it's amazing that the entry level model is only $400 for all what you get. I hear you. It would be cool to see that in a Walmart, but then they have to like split the cost with. So I think that's why they haven't done that yet. We could maybe see that in the future. Like, who knows when they that's tough, man. Come on, the Steam Deck too. But yeah, I think at some point the decision that everybody has to make is what ecosystem do you want to be locked into? And I've talked about it. For me, I always felt like when I would buy digital games on my PS4, those I would try to get them like really cheap because I kind of felt like I won't own these forever. Because that day that store goes down, then my hard drive better not fail. And if I can't re-download them, because that's the other thing that Valve does differently than that like, let's say Nintendo or PS4 doesn't do, or I don't know if Sony does. I know Nintendo doesn't, but there are games that you can't buy retail anymore through Valve. But if you bought the game, you can download it forever. Like, I still have some of those games where you go to the store and it doesn't exist. Yeah, there won't be any updates, but I paid for it. I can get it. So that's another great thing. But yeah, especially after watching you play this, man, Sega, they need to do one or two. Just come out with a Master System Mini, or just give us two Evercade Master System collections, and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Just do that because they have so many first party stuff, and I don't know. Come on, Sega. I mean, I get it, but that's
rough.
That's so baffling to me.
Maybe. Oh.
I mean, with all that said, I mean, yes, if Valve does go under, then yeah,
Oh, son of a bitch.
You're subscribed to all their games, but that's like anything else. For me, my backup plan is then it just becomes an emulation device, but hopefully,
Oh, come on.
Oh, dude, Master System Mini would be amazing. Yeah, Atari Creep. I know.
Son of a
bitch. Dude, this is tough. Wow. I really thought maybe we'd get through this today, and like the next card we'd be able to wrap it up. But
well, the good news is we don't have to go through most of the dungeon. Yeah, breathe. Yeah. No, I'm gonna leave.
Whew. This just felt more like a grind, which is great to be able to like chill and hang out to do this because, man, is it just me or this one looked like it just wasn't as fun compared to the other dungeons? Because look at that, you've got like the best armor in the game, but it feels like in the beginning of the game where you die like in 3 hits, and whew, dude.
Yeah. No, it's rough, man.
Yeah,
it's rough.
The game really bends you over.
All right, so here we go.
PC users use their Steam Deck, sort of a no-brainer. When hook up your mobile, yeah. But see, the great thing though too is for somebody like myself who was really into PC gaming and then took a break from it. Steam, they make PC gaming easy for everyone else. Kind of like how like Evercade makes it like emulation and cart collecting easy. So it's kind of it's neat. But with that said though, yeah, a Master System Mini, yeah, that would be cool. That would be like so nostalgic because I've never owned one that was never even really heard about that until an adult.
Yeah,
that would just be especially if I don't know if they have many like shooting games. I was like plug in the Sindon Link on no, but seriously, that would be. I would think if they did that right, especially it's like for the like what Sega needs to do, $100 price point, and because they own a lot of these, put like 100 games. Just do it. Put $100 or less, and just put all like the license. Put like 100 games on there. Done. That would sell like hotcakes. I'll be like, that you would kind of feel like, hey, if I bought this, I would get to play most all the Master System games that were worth playing.
Sure.
I mean? Like that would be super fantastic because the other ones of like 50 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it is crazy. Actually, I kind of fight that dilemma because I want to go back and play older games, and then I want to play like I want to. When I said like newer, like indie, like when I mean by newer, something like Dead Cells. I think that came out like 2019. It's like a few years old. Same with like Hades. again a few years old. But so the great thing too you can do about Steam Deck, and I need to make it. I don't know if I have to make a tutorial, but I have to talk about. Go into YouTube, do a search for cryo utilities. Can't remember the guy cryo something. The guy's name. He is fantastic. Like he even says like his day job, he manages like Linux server farms and so basically what he's done is he's made a script that you can move all your games to your SD card. You can set your VRAM to 16 gigs. You can also set it so the swappiness, which is a term, you can set that down so the Steam Deck only uses your Steam Deck when it has to. And then there's like some other memory tweaks, which does actually help get rid of the stutter. Then what you can do is go into your BIOS and you set your dedicated memory, because it has an APU where you have to like, Steam by default only has like 1 gig of only has 1 gig allocated to it.
Right.
Yeah. So I was saying, so with the 1 gig of memory, sometimes to be shared between physical memory, the APU, they call it an APU, can be star, but you can put that in the BIOS up to 4 gigs, and that way, if you do play like more AAA games, which I haven't, you're not starved for memory, but like for me, most games only ever use like a gig of memory. But if I play something like Tetris Effect, that will actually use like 2.5 for Hades. So my point is, you can tweak it down, which is amazing. And you can get good performance and good battery life, and for me, it's to play around the house. So I just don't like to be tethered. I mean to go off on a tangent, but yeah, it's kind of a neat thing that they did, and they made it open and not have exclusives. And even Sony has woken up like, maybe we should port some of our PSN games over, because they're because I don't think they want to be like a Nintendo where like everything is locked. I think maybe even what I think will be cool too at some point, that Microsoft makes it native to where you can use the Xbox Pass.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, he's stuck in a fun pose. I'll have to go back and watch that. That's awesome. Who does own the licenses for Vectrex?
Not sure, actually. I know back in the day they were talking about, there was lots of talks about doing some stuff with Vectrex licensing, but I'm not exactly sure who owns it all.
So what's really amazing about the Vectrex? I don't know if they make it anymore, but there's like a flash cart that you used to be able to. I don't know if you can still get, and some vector-based games like Star Wars, you can actually like play that on it. You can actually like put the ROMs and you can play it on it, and it looks, it'll look like in the vector style, but as opposed to like trying to like play another console version or play it on MAME, it like plays incredible. So yeah, there's definitely some neat thing. I would love to see an Evercade collection of that and like the Odyssey 2.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Homebrew it up there. A part of me still hopes we get another Atari, which is really like a Songbird collection that has like a mix of some of their like Jaguar and remakes and all that good stuff. That would just be.
It would be that would be really cool.
That would, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. So those of you who don't know, because of like family stuff, like me and Pete aren't going to be able to be on the one Saturday. But don't worry, you'll be in the good hands of Rich and Crow. But once I won't get to talk Evercade goodness, I'm still waiting on the next, because Indie Heroes 2, I'm still waiting on the next collection that's like, oh, this is a Vectrex, this is an Odyssey 2, this is a system you've never heard. I still want that. Don't get me wrong, the Toplin and all those other things are cool, but I'm like, I want that. Like, here's a cool thing you've never heard of before.
Right.
And so that is kind of the other difference too about with digital, is that it's nice to get something away, and it's the curse of getting a physical thing, but then it's neat, the anticipation, and who doesn't love getting packages? I thought I disappeared for a second. Here's a crazy thought, and me and my wife were talking about this the other day. Growing up as a kid, like you wouldn't order your mail. You wouldn't order a cheap, like everyday household things, even something like an AC adapter, right? the only time you ever got stuff through mail was like maybe like your parents would order something from the JCPenney's catalog, but you would rarely get something sent to you that you'd open that package unless it was from a relative. So how crazy,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that was rarity, so crazy. Like get all the stuff from like, you know. To kind of like think about all that stuff, how, you know, it's just crazy how things have changed. Man, even these guys are just. But see, at least you're not like losing 1 million health. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Pretty much went out to get everything.
Yeah, right now I'm just grinding because it's because I gotta go get some more horns so I can get to 40. So then after I get all the horns, I can go back and seriously, I can get the golden apple, and then as soon as I get the golden apple again, I need to refill my magic, but as soon as I get my golden apple, I can refill it all.
Nice. Okay, internet. I'll try this again. So what I was trying to say is, and Rich can relate to this, based on what you said, physical. So here's the one thing I think that Evercade does by getting the physical cart and the discovery is, remember when we were kids, like the only way you heard about like new arcade games, you'd go to the freaking arcade. Like one day, this game called Mortal Kombat was there. You know what I mean? And so it's like
right, yeah.
It's
not like there was like a magazine or like a
yes!
podcast to tell you. Yeah.
You know, and especially with things being a quarter. I mean, you at least always had like a quarter, and that's what I love about the show that you do every week on this. Is it's kind of like that same thing, like, oh, here's this cool thing, and you were just there, and you wouldn't think about it, and you would play it, and then maybe, and depending on how popular it was, maybe like from your local arcade, maybe that was gone, maybe you'd have to go to a mall, like nothing, it wasn't permanent until you owned it, and that's for me what was so cool about getting Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. I was like, hey, I've got it, I've got that physical, I can play it whenever I want. Yeah, maybe $50-$60, but that's a lot of quarters.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Now you're annoyed if you have to. Yeah, it kind of depends what it is. Like I hate going grocery shopping and stuff like that. But so So here's what was kind of really funny. So the other night, like my daughter, she recently got like a new pair of glasses, and she was like, of course she didn't tell us this earlier in the day, but she's like running to the bus. I bumped into a kid, and like this thingy here like came off. And we were like, oh, we always said like you won't get in trouble, just tell us. And we tried to find a mini screwdriver. It wouldn't stay back in. She needs it for school. And so my wife is looking at this. You're like, not crazy. Like Gorilla Glue is like really good, but we didn't have any because that only lasts long. But we knew that we needed to fix it. And what was great is she was able to go to like Lowe's website, find the thing. We wanted the clear kind, so we didn't leave it. Find the row that it's on, and then like the bin number, which is like the box that it's in. Take a screenshot and send it to me. And maybe, until we can get something ordered within a few hours on Amazon, I was just able to drive like 10, 15 minutes locally, buy it, come back, glue it. And then she had it the next day for school. So like, we still need brick and mortar. The point is like, if there's something like that, I wasn't annoyed. I was just happy the stores were still open and I was able to just at least, run real quick and grab it. So
yeah, that's true. Well, you're always going to need something like that, right?
Yeah. I just don't like fighting traffic, but this was like 7 or 8. So it was fine. But I think that's one of more things. So yeah, it depends on what it is for some like physical things. But something like a phone case, yeah, order that off Amazon. Like I'd be kind of annoyed if I had to go to like the AT&T store, to your point,
right?
Store. You know what I mean. So there's definitely like an application for both. Of course, retro stores are always fun because then I kind of feel like that's kind of like a library. You can like look at all these things, or a museum, and hey, well, with the price is a museum, and you might be able to buy something,
right?
Yeah. Beanie Baby hunting. Oh, that's, you know what? If you haven't, there's a really good documentary on HBO. Definitely watch. So, definitely watch that. Hey, Pete's back. Dude, no, that level was insane.
Yeah, I mean, I am very close to finishing, Pete. Right now, I'm grinding because I need some extra. I need some extra things.
Yeah, things. I love that word. He's calling it extra things and things and. things and stuff. So
things and stuff. Yes.
I love that noise.
Yeah, it's the best place to come and grind because you just walk into a room and it was like, oh, here's the enemies, and now they're all dead.
So you know what is kind of weird about this, like Zelda, is that if you like, and like the first one, I can't remember the link, but like, or the one for Super Nintendo, you could just go to the fairies and get all your pots and things refilled. Like this, you actually have to grind to get your life refilled. Like, man, Sega's not making it easy for you.
No, man, it's not. Like, and but that's the beauty of this game, right? This is why I like it so much, because it's like like this game is not messing around. Like,
no, not at all.
It will come for you, and I'm okay with that. Because in the end, when I finally do get past that thing, like when I finally get it all done, it's probably going to be up there with my greatest gaming accomplishments I've ever had.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. Oh, I love that. Needful things. Not that thing. The other thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Stood in line. Yeah, no, dude, I get that. Like, I remember, like, I don't know if I had to stand in line, but like when the Dreamcast, that, see that, but being able to like be there, wait in line, and get the payoff, like I totally get that. Ooh, dude! Wow, I bet that was probably sold my second PS3. Dang, I bet that was probably like the backwards compatible one that could play PS2, PS1, not emulation, and I bet you like had it in the box, like, or maybe a collection. But dude, yeah. Nice, dude. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I can afford the golden apple, and I've got enough pots, really.
Yeah.
So I can start heading back. It's kind of crazy to know that, like, I am so attuned to even this part of the map that I can just get where I need to go and just go there.
Yeah. At least the good thing on this day and age that there is like a game FAQs, because being adults, it's like, could you? Like, dude, without that game FAQ, I would probably still be like a Dungeon 2 or something. You know what I mean? Like, this was designed for a teenage kid who had a lot of time on their hands, which is good for that. But now as adults,
and there are certainly some of those things that are in this game, and it's just like, it's mind numbing how insane you have to be, like, how detail oriented they want you to be. Like, it's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, really? These guys already respawned? That's weird.
Yeah, and it's not something, let's say, like a Final Fantasy, or like, like to play, like, let's say, like Breath of Fire, or even the other, like the other, I almost call them MMOs, the other RPGs on the Evercade, to where you just have to like go. It's like you have to like go and like talk to the NPCs. It's kind of like, I think we talked about it, like with these games, it's like you have to, maybe, let's say, you have to go find the thing and then do the secret thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you have to like explore around, like, it's more of a maze, if you will. Like, there's so much.
Yes.
You have to do too many things. It kind of reminds me of like Castlevania 2, where you had to like kneel in that one spot to beat the tornado to take you up. But you had your buddies and Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the modern equivalent. Woohoo!
All right. So
at least you can get yourself set up for like another run.
Well, and that's it. That's what I'm doing right now. Like, this is officially, I did my grind.
Yeah.
Got my save game.
Wow. I mean, from the time we played that hour just like
yep.
By.
So I'm ready to rock Dungeon 9 again. But the cool thing is I don't need to do the second boss.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah,
I don't even, and all I need to do is just walk through open doors, because everything's already open.
Yes.
All I need to get back to is the final warp. Try not to lose so much life that it's ridiculous. Get through the couple doors so I can get to the boss, beat him, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. And I could probably enter the dungeon where I am now with life and magic wise, because I don't need to use any other magic until I get to the boss. So I mean, I might use some magic in that one room because it was like, what do I have to kill? I could kill a whole bunch of like shells or something like that. It's like, it's like crazy times. But thanks, man, thanks.
Ooh.
And but it's like, but it's fun. It's fun, and it's good that we can actually do this. The only problem is, Dungeon 10. I don't know if you can do it in Dungeon 10. Like I don't know. Like is it? Can I like halfway beat it? Like and then come back. I don't know.
Ooh, I hope so.
Just to let you guys know, though, right? This is what Dungeon 9 looks like right now, right? That's where we are. This is what I have to get through in Dungeon 10.
Dude, that's almost 3 times. Oh man. And then then Dungeon 10 and then the last one, which is the boss, or
no, Dungeon 10 is it.
Okay.
Once I hit Dungeon 10, and it's literally I beat this boss so I can get the crystal, and then it opens a door up north, actually where I was just grinding. I go through the door, and then that's the final dungeon's open. I go in the dungeon, I go through all the things, I finally make it to the end. Death Adder's there, I stand in the doorway and just whack him with the golden axe, and it's done.
Sounds simple, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you got to go through all this rigmarole and 2 other bosses in order to get the golden axe in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, pretty wild. So anyway, but that's it for today's run. And we don't have enough time to go anymore.
No.
So
it was heck of a run, though.
Oh yeah. So let's do one of these. And do one of these. So yeah. I mean, thanks, Phantom. It's cool. I mean, it's neat to do. I do reserve the right, though. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how crazy Dungeon 10 is.
Reserve the right to save states, yes.
Well, that too. But if for whatever reason it just gets so ridiculously insane, I do reserve the right to activate old man mode to beat this thing, because I have to see the end. Yeah. I have to see it. But I'm trying my darndest. Every other game after this, every other game that I play, I don't care. I will use by any means necessary. I just want to get to the end of the game, see the end of the game, and then go. But for this one, I want to do it as much as possible without having to hit that button.
Oh,
so
hey Ian,
what's up, Ian?
The tail end, but yeah, that's
cool. What's going on? So, but anyway,
yeah.
That's it. So that's it for me. I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up in the morning, do some more stuff. But I
haven't eaten dinner yet, but it's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like starving. Well, I just had it's almost 10, but I just had like snack. Well, because it's weird because when this starts at 8, and then there's some days where my daughter has like longer color guard practice.
Got it.
But then I have some snacks and coffee, so it's not like I'm totally starving. But it's funny though, because when I get into it, I forgot, and now I'm kind of like, okay, no, I'm getting hungry. I've done that before too, working. That you're like if you're busy, like if you're really busy doing something, it's like you can forget about food. Yes, I have to really be into it, but
yeah. So
this is awesome,
yeah, we'll have to put a pen in this. I may actually, I might actually take another stab or two at it, for Dungeon 9 anyway, and then get this grind all the way to get Dungeon 10, and then we'll do Dungeon 10 in another one of these streams.
That'd be excellent. Heck yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, so like that's what I think I'm gonna do. And maybe I don't know, maybe because I'm itching to just beat that boss. I might go back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Good Times with Retro Rich might actually be me trying to beat this thing, not the game, but Dungeon 9. Go back through the Ice Palace and just get the thing done. So we'll see what happens. But awesome. And then yeah, of course, we already talked a little bit about, of course, the fireside chat that's going to happen on the Evercast. It's me and Crow. Everyone's doing their other things, which is fine. It'll be cool. It's actually happening still on the Evercade Effect. So that guy right there, links will go below in the description. Make sure you go over there and you hit their sub buttons and all that kind of stuff if you want to hang out with us on the Evercast.
Heck yeah.
You're still your weekly dose of Evercade goodness, just in a new location. And then, yeah, we'll be over there talking about that. And, yeah, it's good times. So, all right. Got anything else you want to plug before we head out?
Eventually I'll throw something else up on this channel. Some,
Nice.
probably more time with Steam Deck or another game. Next week, I'm not at some point now that I want to spend more time with Indie Heroes 2. I'm sure I'll probably do some rankings or spotlight a game, and I'll throw something in there in between. But that's kind of what I have coming down. And
Nice.
I do appreciate, I ask people's feedback if they like the longer format with putting in like the chapters, because people seem to like to do that when Crow did it. But I think, some people like the shorter videos or they like the longer videos. I'm hoping that I can appease both people by having the longer videos with chapters, because then you can kind of skip through where you want, or if you want to leave it on the background, then you can.
Yeah.
So,
Cool, man.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah, and of course here on Calling All Retro Gamers, Saturday will be another one of our one credit quick looks. Carl was here in the chat tonight, so that was pretty cool.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go down the line. I want to say, so we did, what was it? Omega Race we already did.
Yeah.
What was the other one? There was another.
That Penguin. They do that Penguin game. That was incredible.
Penguin Wars was awesome,
dude. You're so good at that. You need to play that again. Like,
I do need to play that again. I do. I really do.
It's rough. We'll see. It's rough because you only you can't continue. But I like that because it motivates you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Carl, if you're still here or on the replay, I just want to say, like, you've knocked it out of the park. Like, every one of your recommendations have been like super.
Yeah, it's super cool. So definitely doing that. Mikey is the next one. So it's Mikey, Naughty Boy, and Wizard of War are the last three of his recommendations. So I'm getting in there and getting so Mikey will be the one that we do on Saturday. So tune in then. We'll see if I want to put some more credits in that one.
I'm still waiting for when that manager is going to pop out.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen one of these days. One of these days we're going to do it. We're going to pop a quarter in. It's going to be so short. I'm going to be like, nope. I'm going straight. Give me that manager. I'm getting that quarterback. Let's go. So anyway, all right, cool guys. Thanks so much everyone for watching and hanging out with us, of course. And we'll see you next time on Calling All Retro Gamers.
Bye.
Yeah. I gotta hit some more buttons.
Calling all retro gamers.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.